everyone for joining. And we're going to have some fun today. It's going to be informal. I and Joe will sit, we'll talk about our experiences selling solar to residential homeowners, to the commercial guys. We'll talk about what worked. Joe, for example, did door-to-door sales for a very long time. He has a ton of funny anecdotes that we can share. And let's get into it. So first, let's talk about residential solar. So Joe, how can 3D visuals and what kind of 3D collateral can help address customer concerns? Uh, when they talk about aesthetics and how the system is actually going to look and become a part of a person's home.
Yeah, so that's a major issue is I think every sales rep and everyone knows that solar panels are not attractive. They don't look great on a house. They're big black squares. They sometimes reflect light. They get dirty. There's pipes running all over your house. So one thing that we can do and one thing that we can show homeowners is, look, it's actually not going to look that bad. There's a way that we can sell it and show that, hey, yeah, it's going to be black roof on top of your panels, but like your roof is black anyway. You have comp shingle, or no, it's going to be, on the back side of your roof. No one's going to see it. So there are ways to show it, and using the 3D visualization tools that we have are really going to help out that process. But it's not only going to give the aesthetic pleasing that we have, it's also going to show the homeowner, hey, the reason why we're building this is to reach these goals. These are goals that you have set in place. It's going to show tree formations. It's going to show pitch. It's going to show tilt in the rooftop. And it's going to really show the homeowners, hey, this is what it's actually going to look like. Here's a real rendering of what your home is going to look like, not just a 2D piece of paper that if they squint at, they can kind of visualize and see. With 3D modeling, they actually see it, and it opens up that conversation of, oh, let's make some changes. What would it look like here? Oh, maybe we can actually add one more panel there. So it opens up those conversations that really help the sales process flow.
Any stories that you could share in which someone was like, "Hey, I don't want solar," and then you showed them, and then they're like, "Hey, I want solar now."
Yeah, so it was actually the opposite. So it was a homeowner who was very, very eager to get solar. They really wanted solar on their roof, but they lived in kind of these cookie cutter weird houses that um, didn't have a lot of roof space, but they had a lot of tilts and angles. So he looked at a couple things that other sales companies had given him, and he was like, like it's too much solar, like it's all over my house. It's I don't really want it to look like that. And so then I remember I sat down with him and we did a 3D proposal, and this is when LiDAR first came out. And when we showed him the LiDAR, we actually realized that, like, oh, you don't need solar all over the front of your house. Actually, just the back side of your house will be perfect in the side of his home. And so I remember he was sitting there and he's looking at it, and he calls in his wife and he says, "See, totally different. I told you we can make this work." And so it turns out that the wife was actually the one who was like, "No, I don't want it all over my house. It's going to look like a spaceship." But so that's just a test of, okay, it's not only pretty, but it help actually makes it more accurate, and it gives them just a better understanding of what they're going to see. Because I mean, 2D is great for cartoons, but I mean, now that we're actually wanting to sell something and show people an idea, 3D is really going to be the better option.
Awesome. And taking that thing further, talking about the wife, uh, who are the other stakeholders that typically get involved in um, adopting solar?
Yeah, so it's an interesting conversation when you look at the big picture of it. So typically it's not just a husband saying we're going to get solar. Usually it's the husband complaining about the utility bill, suggesting solar, the wife saying no, it's too expensive or it doesn't look good on the house, and then showing them, hey, it's actually not that bad. And I remember as a sales rep, we were told when someone would say like, I don't want solar in my house. It's really ugly. And we would always say like, and is your utility bill pretty? And they'd always be like, well, no. And then it's like, okay, there you go. So we can use those objections, but now since solar has been so readily adopted, we would always point to the houses and say, like, that house isn't that bad, that house isn't that bad, that house isn't that bad. We can make those arrangements for them to see it. But it's also a lot of the times too, especially in these residential communities that we're working with, it's also HOA. HOA has to approve solar. And I remember I was working in a HOA in Carlsbad that has never approved solar before. The reason why they never approved solar before is because they didn't see like a proposal that actually looked in their terms good or accurate or didn't depict the housing. And so when I showed them a 3D proposal, the HOA manager actually then gave me full rights to go to every house and submit one because it was the first one that was fully included, showed shade analysis, it showed the pitches, it showed where the different houses were separated. So it actually opens up more doors because now they're actually able to physically see it, um, which is, it's amazing how 3D proposals have come out and they've come a long way, but how they're always growing too. So it feels like every 6 months there's a new proposal tool, there's a new map that is making it more accurate. And ARK has always been on the forefront of that. Always, once something comes out, we've always adopted it super quick. Um, yeah, and yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And just one feature that I personally really love about ARKA 360 is the 3D model link, right? Uh, so many installers have told me about how they send those out and how homeowners, as well as the commercial guys, will come to commercial as well. But how the homeowners look at it, they play around with it, and how it's actually helped installers actually convert more customers. So could you talk about that and maybe share a few designs for the people here?
Yeah, so I think one thing that's great about the proposal tool is that with ARKA, we've really given the same attention that all the other softwares are giving to residential to commercial as well. So I have a couple of pretty cool commercial buildings we've done, as well as some celebrity homes that we've done for solar as well, for you guys to kind of take a look at so that you're not only able to see the visualization of it, but hopefully spark some ideas of, oh, this is how I can use this in my business. So let me share my screen here. All right. And are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, we are.
All right, perfect. So let me move it over here. So when you see here, so this is actually Brad Pitt's house. So not only are we seeing the 3D analysis of the home, but one thing that's important here too is we're getting the pitches and the
Joe,
angles. We're getting
your
the,
screen is gone. Could you
oh, it's
just
gone.
refresh or something? Yeah,
How's now?
yeah, can see it.
Okay, sorry about that. So as I was showing, you can see the different angles. You can see the pitches. You can see the obstructions, the shade reports. You can actually see how the panels will sit flush against the house. So you can show this to the homeowner. You can see, look, here's how the trees are going to be affected. Um, you can see the over here we have sun path analysis and sun simulation so that you can show, okay, here's why we did it. So one of the biggest questions that we always got in the door-to-door side was, why did you put the panels there? And we can say in very, a homeowner's not going to know what a radiance is. We can explain it to them, but in reality, um, you can actually pull it across like this. And you can see we put it here because this is the best path for the sun, right? And you can see also the intricacies that we're able to offer, right? So this is a rooftop. So one thing that I love about the ARKA tool that we're able to do is if you do a rooftop mount like this, you can actually see the stations on there so that when you go to sell this to a homeowner, you can give them a real live tour of, hey, this is in actuality what it's going to look like. You know, this one we a little bit of and be of and beyond because it was for the queen bee herself, Beyonce. But you can see that we have the pool layout, the different areas. We have in the back here, you can actually show them where the inverter is going to be and how that's going to look. And again, it just gives a really good visualization of the home so that they can actually have that conversation of, oh, this is what it's actually going to look like here. And now moving over to the commercial side of things, because this is where things get really exciting for me as commercial is an ever expanding business, is you can now actually do it for commercial projects as well. So you can
Joe,
use, yeah,
how does one get access to this link? Is it like, do the homeowners need to have software installed to see this? Can they only see
no,
it on their
this is
laptops?
just a web
How does it
link.
work?
So the sales rep actually has a proposal tool that we will give them. And there's a couple ways that they can do it. One of the ways is actually they can scan a QR code on their phone. So let me show you this screen. This is actually pretty cool here that we've done as well. Sorry. You'd think after so many years of COVID and Zoom meetings, I would have sharing my screen dialed, but still a Neanderthal. So as you see here, this is a sample of just one of our proposals. We have 3 different proposals that you can choose from, and a fully custom proposal is actually coming very soon. So what you're able to do, hold on, give me one second here. Technical difficulties.
No,
So
Adobe is always doing that to me too.
yeah.
Go
So
on, go on.
what they're able to do, I'll open it up, but I'll explain it to you as this happens. What you're able to do is you can give this to a homeowner. The homeowner can look at this, download it, see it, do whatever it is that they need to do with it. But what they're going to be able to do is they're able to actually scan a QR code on their smart device so that they are looking at this when you give them proposal. That doesn't really tell them a lot or anything like that. But if they scan the QR code here, it actually opens up the document to the page I previously showed you. So they can now move it around on their phone, they can zoom in, they can zoom out, all in a single doc proposal that before was just this. So now we've
Joe,
changed it. Yeah.
could you just zoom in? And I just wanted to test and scan it for myself. Could you just zoom in the QR code?
Yeah. Can you see the QR code right here?
Yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah.
press Control plus.
Da.
Just make it bigger. It's there right on the top.
Yeah, I see it. So go ahead and give that a scan.
Okay, so I have my camera app open, scan, and okay. Awesome. So it opens up on my mobile as well. And
Yeah, why don't you show your phone to the camera?
making my phone disappear.
So
But yeah, you can sort of see it on my phone here.
yeah,
And with this 3D model, you can sort of use one finger to rotate the design, and you can use two fingers to pan and sort of move around the space. So you can really have fun with it. You can send it to your homeowner, you can send it to your customer, and then they can really see the design that you've done from all the angles possible, and they can play around. I think it's the play that makes it really fun.
yeah.
Sorry, Joe. I'll let
No,
you.
no, totally fine. And one thing that I wanted to touch back on is that when you share it with your homeowner, you're getting this here. This is what they're actually looking at. So they're getting the full landscape that they're able to see. As Siddharth explained, they can zoom in, they can look at the details, they can play with the sun path simulations, they can see, if we look at the obstructions here, they can see how their obstructions are going to affect the system. You can also do, as I said before, irradiance maps to showcase what it would look like for the homeowner too. And it's not just, I realize this is a relatively simple building, but you can do, I mean, this is the White House. So you can do these very intricate modelings on our platform. We can do domed
Can
structures.
you
We can do
zoom in?
columns,
Hmm.
right?
Getting the
Our
front pillars is a difficult task.
Yeah, and that's just detail. But our design tool and our design team are actually up to the task to do it. So we have a full design team here at ARKA that can render these projects for you. And then coupled with that, with the AHJ landscapes that we have, with the single line diagrams that come with this, with the permit building that we have attached to it, we have all these things here so that, not only, okay, cool, here's your proposal, but also, okay, here are the next steps. Here's what we can lay this out for you. Um, for both commercial and residential, you have those options to do. So we've kind of seen um, what our proposals look like. We've talked about why it's important, but I want to shift it a little bit to talk about, you know, what's coming, what's happening next. So Darth, as the founder and kind of the person who's involved in kind of the next steps with with what's happened so far. So if we look back at the history of solar, we've seen the net metering completely shake the biggest, market, which is California, and battery tools and everything like that. Net metering and storage calculations are unarguably the future, no matter what market you're in. Our last webinar showcased that, so it showed that ARKA is here for the future. What are we doing with the new mapping features that are coming out? I mean, there's companies like Scanify, there's companies like EagleView making huge strides, um, big LiDAR proposals coming out. And now that AI has entered the chat, what are we kind of doing with AI and mapping tools that could possibly do?
Thanks, Joe. Uh, so at ARKA 360, we really do believe that the heroes of solar are the solar installers. And at ARKA 360, we just want to do one very simple job. Just make the best tools to help installers win, right? So obviously we started off in design tool. In fact, ARKA 360 has its roots in CNI design. And after that we got into residential, and then we started solving all of those problems. And I think we were also among the first to get into solving the NEM 3.0 modeling accurately, right? And Joe, I, and Brad from CALSA, we spoke about it at length about what ARCA 360 does, the need for simulation software in the last webinar. And so anyway, so the goal is to keep ahead. And one pattern that we're seeing is that it's harder for installers to be only cookie cutter residential PV only. They need to probably do more because the market's just going in that direction. So it can't be just PV. It needs to be PV. Obviously there'll be a certain percentage which only go for PV, but it'll be PV plus storage. It might also be storage only for some of you guys here, and that's just one of the aspects, right? More accurate simulations. The other thing that adds to accuracy simulations is just how accurately we're able to model the roof, right? And this can be done one of two ways. The first way is using AI, using automation to identify the roof facets and do it automatically. So I'm just going to share something which is in our R&D right now, but something that we're all very excited about. So I'll just take a sec to show you that. Is my screen visible?
Hmm.
Awesome. So it's going to be like this. Um, we have a tool called Sales Mode. In Sales Mode, design tool, it's made specifically for salespeople. So at the click of a button, you get the entire roof drawn up. And then again, at the click of a second button, you move over to the next step, which is detecting the obstructions. You press that, and all the chimneys, vents, obstructions that AI can see on top of the rooftop, those also get identified. And
So quick.
so that's an addition to the current sales mode that we have. The
Mhm.
current sales mode looks like this. Again, I'm just gonna play this video so that you guys can see it. So this is our salesman design mode. It's like a subset of our overall design studio. So you can, it's very simple. The first step is to draw the roof. You can either draw the roof or only the facets that solar needs to go on. The second step is adding obstructions. The third is adding panels and inverters, right? Very simple, enough to get that initial proposal out. And then, this is how you do it, right? So you just start drawing. It'll detect something if it can. So it's more like assisted. Uh, and then once we have all of the edges, you can sort of select, it will automatically help detect the heights of the facet. It'll identify the tilt. Then obviously you can make manual changes if you need to. So
Mhm.
if you want to change the setbacks on any of the edges, select which kind of boundary it is. And then you select the turbo ventilator, sorry, the vent, and then it'll automatically place the modules. You can make manual adjustments. You can add a module, delete it, play around to get like the most accurate thing. And then you get into a proposal, right? So that's basically what we're doing. So this is a very simple one. This is a sales mode proposal. So Joe showed one, which was the detailed proposal. This is a relatively more simple um, salesman proposal. So you'll all have different kinds of customers, right? Some
Mhm.
customers you want to show that additional detail, and then to some customers you don't want to show more data. More data will just confuse them.
Yeah.
So it's really about using the right proposal format. And again, we've talked to so many homeowners, we've talked to so many installers, and we've really made those proposals very tailored. So it works for everyone.
Mhm. And so going back to the AI demo that you showed us, so the video underneath that one that you previously showed us, I think one thing I know for me as a as a sales rep that made me a little bit nervous is that when you click the obstruction and it just kind of did it for you, is there a way that sales rep can actually add an obstruction, maybe one that the AI missed?
Yes, yes. So, it's important to know that AI is not something that will ever, replace a person. It is meant to augment the ability of the salesperson or the designer who's working on it. So the way that AI, everyone should think about AI is as a tool that, does 80-90% of the work, but you still own and you're still responsible and you still have control over the final output.
Hmm.
So that's how we look at AI. And that's how AI, I think, should be viewed at, not just in solar, but across, everything that we've been seeing with OpenAI, Gemini, and so on.
Yeah. Yeah. I just know when I saw that I had a PTSD flashbacks of getting a design and not being able to actually change it herself. So before we were talking about that, you showed I saw here that there was a two maps happening. What was going on there? That didn't make any sense.
Yeah. So, we have the Google Maps, which is the default. Obviously, there's Google Maps, then there's Near Maps, there's Eagle View as well. There's Bing. So we, as ARKA 360, support all of these software, all of these map sources. Um, and then also this is Street View. So, if you're designing, you need to sort of, as Joe, you were saying, right? The proposal, maybe the guy who made the proposal for you. uh, missed that vent that we just saw, right? This one, but you're seeing it, right? So yes, you can edit it, and but if they were smart, they'd use ARKA 360, and then they'd use this feature, and they would actually catch this through the street view because maybe you can't see it from the top, but you can definitely see that through the street view.
Hmm. Yeah, and what are some of the other benefits of that street view? Say I'm a homeowner, or say I'm a rep designing this in the house.
Well, I can't always see. Sometimes roofs just get very complicated, and I've
Hmm.
seen all kinds of like very strange roofs. And I'm like, hey, why did why did the homeowner even agree to that,
Why?
right?
Why?
Yeah, just why. But we have to deal with it, right?
Hmm.
And so that's where the street view comes in because sometimes even software will not be able to identify those really tricky rooftops, no matter what software it is. It can't do that,
Hmm.
and that's where street view can sort of help, identify. Okay, this is one facet. This is the second one. This is where I want to put solar. And then obviously you have the tools inside the software, right? So you can add panels on each facet. You can see for every facet how much kilowatts you're going to get on each facet, and then
Hmm.
also see how much solar access or solar irradiance each facet is getting. So you can really optimize for that and sit with the homeowner and then just make sure that you're making a model, and if the model is wrong, you have the tools to edit that model.
Hmm.
So you're not just sitting there like an idiot, right? you
Yeah.
you know what to do, and you can do
And
something about it.
and what are we doing to make it easier for sales reps or easier for designers? I mean, obviously the AI stuff like that, but what are we getting what are we giving them to make it easier so that if they are sitting down with a homeowner and it comes back totally wonky and they got to fix it? Because I've had that many times where I'm sitting in there, I get the design back from another software and it's like off, like totally off. And I think every sales rep dreads the conversation of, "Hey, can I actually come back? This isn't coming back properly," and that's pretty much a deal killer. So are we doing anything to make it simpler for the sales reps to make ready designs right then and there?
Yeah, so let's take some cases. So let's say if some of the obstructions got left, um, the sales rep can easily add those and re-simulate that roof, right? That's one
Hmm.
case. The other case can be if the roof came out completely wrong, right? And you need help. So in that case, inside the software, you can actually order a service. So I'm just gonna share that real quickly.
Got a lot of tabs open there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm bad with that. 360. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sharing this also for your guys' benefit. You can go here, check out what we have in terms of features. Everything gets uploaded, all the features. You can look through everything here and just see what
Hey,
we
who's
have.
that guy?
Oh, that's you. And uh,
Yeah, so
purposes.
all of everything that we're talking about, all of our trainings or everything, um, are on YouTube. So by all means, if you have any questions.
Yeah. So this is the video, right? So the second case is where if you're stuck, the initial design you got wrong, you can actually just uh, yeah, you can actually just sorry, this is the wrong one. You can actually just order a proposal through the software itself, right? So that's pretty easy to do and can be done very quickly. So okay, I got the right one. Um, so let's say this is the design, right? This is the tool. I'm stuck. The design came out completely wrong, and I just deleted everything. So what I can do is actually go back a step. I can I can then so this is the software, right? Um, I can actually ask, I can actually order a sales proposal right here, right? So that can get me the proposal very quickly, and I can go back to the sale without too much of a gap, right? So if it's like 15-20 minutes for the proposal at max to get back to you, you can just sort of make small talk, talk about the weather, talk about other stuff, right? Talk about the savings, talk about the inventory of what's going to be put on the roof, and yeah, and then when the proposal is back from our team, it's going to show up here in your orders tab, and then you can just proceed. So that's the second thing where, if your team has failed you, we still have your back for that design.
Yeah, and that's a great touching point is that he said we have your back for that design. So to elaborate on that is that ARKA 360, when you submit a design request or you reach out for help, you're not just going to get put in some call queue or some black hole of despair and worry. You're actually going to get a real human being who is trained, who knows how to not only use ARKA, but knows how solar works. They're certified, they're engineers, they know what looks good, they know what components work together. So when they're building these 3D proposals that we're submitting to you, or if you have any questions on it, it's actually someone who is looking at it in real time and knows how to do it. So now let's talk about some features that have really stepped up the game and how ARKA 360 is answering the call. So LiDAR that's come out. There's other softwares out there that are heavy invested into LiDAR and the automatic um, pitch and obstruction and shading, all that stuff. How is ARKA 360 kind of answering that call in regards to LiDAR and how are they utilizing it for 3D?
So a lot of the automation that we have done is based on LiDAR data. So ARCA 360 has access to LiDAR data. It allows installers to um, use that in order to model the roof more accurately. In terms of our coverage, we have as many roofs as most of our competitors would also have. And um, yeah, it's data, right? LiDAR is a data source. We have the data, then we need to, and then ARCA 360 has the tools to use that LiDAR data and extract the useful information, which is the roof model, and identify the facets. So um, yeah, ARCA 360 can do everything that is required in order to model a roof accurately.
hmm hmm And where do you see that future happening? So we've talked about AI, but like, we look at tools like Scanify or Eagle View. Those are kind of the future of the mapping. So where are we seeing that mapping software coming into play in the next, 2 to 5 years?
That's a great question. So you talked about drones. I just want to address that for a while. We have worked with drone data in the past, wherein we have imported drone data inside our software. Uh, so drone data is very similar to LiDAR data, right? It's basically all 3D data. So consider LiDAR data as as a lesser accurate version of drone data, because drones, LiDAR data is collected over when companies like Nearmap and all and Google, they fly planes over the cities, and then they construct it, right? But the plane's flying at a very high height, and then they collect that information through something that sort of is like sonar, right? So LiDAR data is there. It's slightly more inaccurate. Then you have drone data, And if you have a drone yourself and you're only mapping one roof, you can actually just fly it very close to the roof and then take so many images, and then get the 3D data out of those images, right? So that can be very, very accurate. In fact, drone data can actually give you like 1 to 2 centimeter level accuracy in terms of either your length and breadth calculations or your height calculations for the roof or the obstructions, right? So it can even identify if there's a broken tile on the roof, for example. So it can be very, very accurate drone data.
Hmm.
Um,
And are you saying that
so,
companies need to have their own drone for drone data, or?
well, again, this works. The many business models around it. Obviously, the companies can have their own drone, and then import that data. Um, or, there are a lot of companies which you can outsource the drone survey to, which can then give you the data. So it can work many ways. I found that mostly if you have a residential company, you can still have the drone yourself. But if you're outsourcing in that model, it's probably like I've seen only the commercial and bigger companies do it, not the smaller, not the bigger companies, but it's done for bigger projects more often than the residential projects.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. And to be clear, so drone is something that we have worked with. I'd love to show you guys like a case study that we did, eaten our own dog food. Um, and it's on the roadmap for ARKA 360. So sometime in like Q1 of 25, we plan to also have the drone analysis stuff happen. If you guys think that we should pull that ahead, let us know, email us, put it in the chat, and we can we can look at telling our product managers that, hey, we have people asking for it earlier. So we can prioritize it according to what you guys are saying.
Yeah. And I think one thing too, um, that I've really noticed is, sometimes with this Google data or sometimes with our mapping features, a house just isn't there. There's been situations in the past where um, you are doing something, you get an address and it's in, you know, Kentucky or somewhere very rural, and there's just no house there. But it's like, no, the house is here. I have the new build. Is ARCA 360 doing anything with that sort of situation that comes up where there's no map there? So there's been times where I've submitted it to a previous software and they're just like, yep, sorry, it's not there. So we'll just put panels on the ground and they can call it from there. How is ARCA 360 handling that particular situation?
I love that question. I have the right video loaded up for it. So it works like this. So this is the dual map feature. So obviously, I'm just gonna speed this up. Yeah, so you can definitely like select the rooftop. So by default, we load up Google first, and then we load up near map if you want to change it. So for example, this is how you can sort of select the area for how much near map imagery you want. So for residential, obviously you want a smaller size, and then if you have a commercial or a ground mount, you want a much bigger thing. So all of that is possible. And yeah, so sorry. So now, Joe, if you don't have a constructed house yet, right, or the imagery is not there, you can actually just import the CAD file for that particular roof, or an image that captures that's like an export of the CAD directly into the software, right? Obviously, for this design, I did not have one, so we just took like a random blueprint. But yes, you can import the CAD, you can import an image, and then draw everything on top of that image or
So
on
you
top
can
of
kind
that
of
CAD
lay the
file.
image, you can lay the image, scale the image to what you need to see, and then build up from the image.
That's right.
that sounds complicated. Is that something that ARKA is able to do for the customer? So that, can the customer submit a proposal request?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, customers can do it either by themselves. We have awesome support, so we'll help you do this actively. If you don't want to do it, you can submit a request, submit a proposal request, and our team can more than happily do that for you.
Awesome. And so, like, what issues are we seeing with this? Like, you know 3D is a massive next step. I mean, I know that there are some companies out there that have a augmented reality tool that you can actually showcase what it looks like on a smart device. I know that ARKA 360 has that tool, but what else is coming up, and what limitations are you seeing with 3D? Like, what can it not capture?
I think 3D is able to capture um, most of it. Ultimately, it's it becomes a data problem where you have to, if there's drone data available or if the LiDAR data is of a higher resolution or a lower resolution. So the more accurate the data is, the more accurate your output or your analysis is going to be. Um, so I guess the main limitation today is just more and more accurate 3D data.
Hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. It is always interesting. There's always that conversation where you have with a homeowner where there's like, oh, that tree actually isn't there anymore. Or, oh, we changed our house, so our garage is longer. So stuff like that. So there always is going to be those situations and those issues that happen. So it's important to put your trust in a software um, that, you know, is taking those next steps and is having those conversations and is reflecting and okay, this is what we have now, but what can it be better? Um, so yeah, I mean thank you for answering those questions. Hopefully this was insightful and somewhat entertaining as we fumbled through this a little bit. But yeah, we want to open it up for any questions that you guys have, or any topics that you guys want to talk about. Um, so the first question that came up here is we have a gearless dual axis tracker that we push nationwide through our agrovoltaics division. There are rumors of your group being able to quote the trackers. Please verify. Yes, we do have single access and dual access trackers inside of our software that not only give you a great depiction, 3D modeling of what it looks like, but also accurate data. Siddharth, you want to touch on anything else like this?
Yeah. So we have been simulating single axis trackers, and we have on just it's developed and it's under testing. So it's going to be released pretty soon. The ability to model dual axis trackers as well. So that's going to be shortly out in the next few weeks. So just get in touch with us and we'll make sure that that we show you what we have, what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I love that how you wrote it. There are rumors of your group doing it
Yeah, they're rumors. Yeah, we're keeping it very under wraps. No.
on the rocks. Love it.
Okay. Any other questions coming through? What's the name of the software, please? The name of the software is called ARKA 360. You can find it at LinkedIn, social media, um, or you can just go to arca360.com, pull it up. Um, yeah, you can go from there. So yeah, the ARKA 360 app is it's a the cool thing about it too is that it's a all-in-one app, so you don't actually have to API anything in to get all the features that you just saw in our webinar. Is there any kind of documents manager or abilities to send agreements for signing? Um, yes, so that is coming. That is a feature that we have heard. That's feedback that we've gotten, and we're actually going to be having a whole document management tool um, that you're able to send contracts, use your DocuSign access, have multiple proposals, multiple contracts, commercial, residential, everything in one space. So that's going to be coming soon, and we're pretty excited about that tool. Um, what is the main difference with your modeling versus others like Aurora? Siddharth, you want to handle that one?
There's no major difference. Um, uh, it's a tool, and if you're trained well on Aurora, you can use that, get your 3D designs made. If you're trained on our software, we have all the tools, we have all the features that will allow you to get the same output through ARKA 360. You just need to, just learn it, right? If you're used to Aurora, you need to learn this. If you're used to us, you need to learn Aurora. So that's how we look at it. Just, it's a tool. Um, the key difference is that ARKA 360, since it had its roots in CNI, we actually have a very comprehensive CNI tool. And on Aurora, I know that on ARKA 360, you can simulate both residential and commercial. Uh, but if you were to go to the Aurora stable, you need to get Aurora licenses to simulate residential designs, and then you need helioscope licenses to simulate commercial, right? And again, there's still two disjoint softwares, so we really want to have everyone not pay for too many licenses. Like instead of going for two residential, two commercial licenses with Aurora, you can just get two or three with us.
Yeah. So we got a hot one here for you. When is the AI available to use?
It's not available right now. We're working on it, and it's something that it I'm just sharing some internal stuff, right? It works very well for the simpler roofs, but anywhere where there's like some different levels of multi-roof kind of designs, or roofs that I know all of us would see and we're like, why the hell is a roof like that? On those, it's not working as well, just from our internal studies. Um, so we're not releasing it yet as a result of that. We want to first perfect it, make sure it works for at least like 99%, at least 95% of the rooftops. And then we plan to release it, not some half-baked thing.
Yeah.
But in the
Uh,
meantime, you can still,
mhm.
use the tool, you can use the features to still model everything, so you can still get your job done.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a couple more minutes for any last questions. No more? Okay. Yeah, well, great. So thank you everyone so much for joining. Again, we'll be posting the link to this. If you guys have any questions that come up down the line or want to discuss something one-on-one with myself or Siddharth, please by all means reach out to us. We're more than happy to, jump on an individual call and answer those questions for you. Yeah, anything else you guys need, please reach out. Don't hesitate.